Verse 228. Divorced women remain in waiting for 3 periods, and it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah has created in their wombs if they believe in Allah and the Last Day. And their husbands have more right to take them back in this if they want reconciliation. And they have rights similar to those over them in kindness, but the men have a degree over them. And Allah is exalted in might and wise. Explanation. 1. Waiting period, Iddah. The 3 menstrual cycles, Kuru, serve as a waiting period for divorced women, ensuring clarity about potential pregnancies and allowing time for reconciliation. The Iddah period is mandatory to uphold familial and social responsibilities. 2. Honesty in pregnancy disclosure. Women are commanded not to conceal pregnancies during the Iddah, as it affects the rights of the child and the father. 3. Husbands' rights during Iddah. Husbands have the right to reconcile during this period, provided their intention is genuine and aimed at mending the relationship. 4. Equality and differences in rights. The verse emphasizes mutual rights and responsibilities but acknowledges a degree of leadership, qawwama, for men, as they are responsive for financial and family management. 5. Divine wisdom. The mention of Allah's might and wisdom reflects the balanced approach to preserving individual and familial harmony. Verse 229. Divorce is twice. Then, either keep in an acceptable manner or release with good treatment. And it is not lawful for you to take anything of what you have given them unless both fear that they will not be able to keep the limits of Allah. But if you fear that they will not keep the limits of Allah, then there is no blame upon either of them concerning that by which she ransoms herself. These are the limits of Allah, so do not transgress them. And whoever transgresses the limits of Allah, it is they who are the wrongdoers. Explanation. 1. Limits on divorce. Divorce can occur only twice in a revocable manner, talaq raj'i. After that, reconciliation or final separation must occur. This is a safeguard against hasty or repeated divorces. 2. Fair treatment in divorce. If the husband chooses to retain the wife, it must be done with respect and fairness. If he opts for separation, it should be amicable. 3. Ransom divorce, khula. The verse permits a wife to seek divorce by returning her dowry, mahr, if both parties believe they cannot uphold Allah's limits in the marriage. 4. Divine boundaries. These limits are set by Allah to protect individuals and society from injustice and chaos. Transgressing them is equated with wrongdoing. Verse 230. And if he has divorced her, then she is not lawful to him afterward until she marries a husband other than him. And if the latter husband divorces her or dies, there is no blame upon the two to return to each other if they think that they can keep the limits of Allah. These are the limits of Allah, which he makes clear to a people who know. Explanation. 1. Irrevocable divorce, talaq al-bayn. After the 3rd divorce, the wife becomes unlawful for the husband unless she marries another man and that marriage ends naturally, without deceit or manipulation. 2. Wisdom in the ruling. This ruling discourages rash divorces and emphasizes the sanctity of marital commitments. 3. Conditions for reconciliation. Reconciliation after a 3rd divorce is permitted only if both parties genuinely believe they can uphold Allah's limits. 4. Divine clarity. Allah sets these clear boundaries to guide those who seek to understand and follow His laws. Verse 231. And when you divorce women and they have fulfilled their term, either retain them according to acceptable terms or release them according to acceptable terms. And do not keep them, intending harm, to transgress. And whoever does that has certainly wronged himself. And do not take the verses of Allah in jest. And remember the favor of Allah upon you and what has been revealed to you of the book and wisdom by which He instructs you. and fear Allah and know that Allah is knowing of all things. Explanation. 1. Respectful treatment. Men must either reconcile with their wives during the iddah or release them with dignity. Retaining them to harm or manipulate them is forbidden. 2. Prohibition of abuse. Misusing the process of divorce to harm a spouse is considered a grave injustice. 3. Seriousness of divine laws. Marriage and divorce are not to be taken lightly, as they are governed by divine wisdom. 4. Gratitude for divine guidance. Believers are reminded to value Allah's blessings and the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah, which provide clarity in personal and social matters. Verse 232. And when you divorce women and they have fulfilled their term, do not prevent them from remarrying their husbands if they agree among themselves on an acceptable basis. That is instructed to whoever of you believes in Allah and the Last Day. That is better for you and purer, and Allah knows, and you do not know. Explanation. 1. Freedom to remarry. Divorced women have the right to remarry their former husbands if the iddah has ended and both parties consent. Mutual agreement and fairness are very important. 2. Encouraging reconciliation. If reconciliation is possible and both parties believe they can fulfill Allah's limits, it is better and purer for them to reunite. 3. Divine knowledge. Humans may not fully comprehend the wisdom behind Allah's laws, but adherence to them leads to greater good. Verse 233. Mothers may nurse their children 2 complete years for whoever wishes to complete the nursing. Upon the father is their provision and clothing according to what is acceptable. No person is charged with more than his capacity. No mother should be harmed through her child, and no father through his child. And upon the heir is a duty like that. And if they both desire weaning through mutual consent and consultation, there is no blame upon them. And if you wish to have your children nursed by a substitute, there is no blame upon you as long as you give payment according to what is acceptable. And fear Allah and know that Allah is seeing of what you do. Explanation. 1. Nursing and financial responsibilities. The verse recommends breastfeeding for up to 2 years, while assigning the father financial responsibility for the mother and child. 2. No harm or injustice. Parents must avoid harming one another through their child, ensuring a balanced and cooperative approach to parenting. 3. Flexibility in weaning. Decisions regarding weaning or hiring a wet nurse must be made through mutual agreement and fairness. 4. Allah's oversight. The verse ends with a reminder of Allah's awareness of all actions, urging parents to act responsibly and justly. Key themes. 1. Balancing rights and responsibilities. These verses ensure that both spouses have clear rights and responsibilities, maintaining fairness in family matters. 2. Reconciliation and fairness in divorce. Shia teachings prioritize reconciliation and discourage the misuse of divorce laws. 3. Protecting women's rights. The rulings protect women from harm or exploitation, ensuring their dignity and well-being. 4. Accountability to Allah. All family matters are governed by accountability to Allah, emphasizing justice, compassion, and mutual respect.